Yeah, that's Michelle Burris from the Century Foundation, one of our BFFs, longtime BFFs. My name is Matt Bogosian, and good morning. It's August 4th, 2025, and this is AMCC's National 30-Minute Call. Same time every Monday, 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central, 9:30 Mountain, and 8:30 Pacific time. David Van Sicklen is our operations director, and he's in an airport right now. So I think he's listening in, but about ready to jump on a plane. And so thanks to Michelle Burris for aiding me in admitting everybody for this call and helping out as always. So happy August. It's our first call in August, and as usual, we have lots going on in an uncertain environment, so to speak. If you're new to this weekly AMCC National 30-Minute Call, welcome. It's been happening for over a decade, and at the beginning of every week, every month, every year, and it's a check-in, on how we're all doing and working to strengthen the cornerstone of the American project, producing priority products with stronger, smarter, and more robust ecosystems of support in regions where the production happens. Every region, of course, is different with a different set of public, private, nonprofit stakeholders in the ecosystem of support. So we band together each week here to do the 5 things that systems change demands: build and strengthen relationships, common narratives, strategies, actions. So we ultimately get to the 5th thing: building better structures in this nation that allow you, me, and all of us in our regional manufacturing ecosystems and support networks the capacity to understand how best to identify gaps in regional ecosystems of support so our manufacturers making priority products can thrive, successfully compete, employ people, and lift communities in the American project. So some Mondays, so on this call, we have 2 flavors. We have presentations like we did last week with the Massachusetts Technology Collaborative and Megan and Bella Bowen talking about their workforce toolkit, which is cool. It helps community colleges and employers align on training programs. And then we have calls like today's call, which is a roundtable call. We just go around the room and hear from you about best practices, challenges, or anything else that matters. AMCC is the nation's manufacturing community of practice, so designated by the Department of Commerce's Economic Development Administration, and we're proud of that title because like we've always had, we count on you to engage on what we've co-created over the years, which is a framework for understanding the complexity. So we all have a greater likelihood that our work, joined with the work of others, is going to matter more, increasing the correlation between all these various public, private, nonprofit stakeholder interventions and the outcomes that we're trying to produce. So we have this Big 6 framework that you all know about for regional manufacturing ecosystems. If you don't, it's on our website, the Big 6. And this really goes back 15 years. That's a part of it. Key to the success of all of this collective impact work is co-creating that work with trusted relationships with one another. So thanks for being on the call. As Michelle said, dropping your name in the chat and reaching out to someone. Use the chat. I mean, the chat has been a very useful tool. People tell us all the time about how they picked up something in the chat that goes on as other things are happening on the call. So use that tool and tactic as we go forward. We have an opportunity every Monday, for folks to come on and introduce themselves, say where they are, where they work in manufacturing or the ecosystem of support. We have manufacturers, manufacturing associations, nonprofits, federal agencies, the whole gamut. It's a wide range of stakeholders in the Big 6 ecosystem of support. So we'll do those intros in a second, and I'll call on folks if folks aren't volunteering, because it's a forcing function. We need to build and strengthen those relationships. But as I always do on Mondays too, I like to highlight a couple of things that in the second thing that happens every week, which is the AMCC Update newsletter that has in it funding opportunities, best practices, tools and tactics, and articles that bring to the fore the best evidence about, how do you strengthen American manufacturing and regions. It's free. The AMCC update is free, goes out every Friday, mostly every Friday, occasionally Saturday. But share it, use it with your networks, and do what so many of you do every week, is send us content, because it really is a reflection of the good hard work that you're doing, the challenges that you see, the best practices that are bubbling out of your region, so that we can share it across the country. We can't be doing this like 20th century race to the bottom like we did at the end of last century. When we won the Cold War, we didn't need to compete as much internationally, and you know, um, so many have said, my region is this, my state is the end all be all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But each region, that's a race to the bottom, and each region is great for different reasons. We just need to tap into those strengths and weave it together to compete as a nation. So that's what we're all about. So let me turn quickly to the AMCC update. Two things I want to highlight that were in the Friday update. Like David Van Sicklen, our operations director, he's traveling. He's traveling to the Manufacturing Momentum Summit, which is in Detroit this week. It is an in-person event, honchoed by DoD, the ManTech office in DoD, and the Upjohn Institute and the Center for Regional Economic Competitiveness. It's important because, as key as it is in this community of practice to stay virtually connected like we do twice every week in the call and the Friday update, meeting in person matters too. So at least once a year, we're trying to get to a point where at least we have that cadence to meet up and deepen and broaden those relationships and really get at talking about, how we have more predictive outcomes from all of our different various interventions. So for those attending, there's a lot of information in the AMCC update, and we'll see you there. If you're not going, no worries, we'll report back. And in the meantime, you can check out on our website, americanmcc.com. There's a link to the summit that we had in 2024, where there's recordings of all these great economists and others, regional leaders, talking about this bottom-up approach. So that's something you can do in the meantime. Another update item in the AMCC update I want to highlight is next week's AMCC call. This call next week, same time, same link, everything, but it's going to be extended and co-hosted in partnership with the National Institute of Standards and Technology. And they're looking to do what we are doing, trying to stimulate responses for a new national strategy for advanced manufacturing. So we need as much bottom-up input from manufacturers and the manufacturing ecosystem of support on that. This national strategy, what this national strategy needs to call for. So this Friday, on that point, AMCC is planning to send out to you and everyone our draft response to the national strategy, just as a draft, to spur your thinking and your own submissions. Then on Monday next week, this call, it'll be a real-time official input mechanism for the national strategy. NIST will be employing this Slido platform. I think many of you, we've done it a couple of times, participated on the Slido platform. So those will be input for your comments. And if you can only make the first 30 minutes, like the normal 30-minute AMCC weekly call, that's cool. You can make your input there, but it's going to extend, for folks that, want to have more input or can only make input later on. So that is important information, those two things from the AMCC update that went out. So you can mine the update. It's got all the information, or send me or David a note if you need any follow-up information. David's, like I said, on a plane right now, so he can't send it to you immediately right here on this call. So those are the two things I wanted to highlight. And let's turn to introductions. So so these introductions are, if you're new or if you just haven't spoken up for a while, just raise your hand, say who you are and what region you are or what national organization or whatever in the public, private, nonprofit sector, and how and what you're doing. So let's see, Dan Radomski, and then we'll do Sam Bayless.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Appreciate it. And I'll see you this week at the event here in Detroit. So I run Centropolis Accelerator. We're a really unique hard tech manufacturing tech accelerator. Even though we're right here in Michigan, we often cover the entire US with some of our programs, including the work we do for defense related technologies. But we have in-house design engineering, prototyping, support for getting new products to market made right here domestically. We have a big Manutech event September 30th where we're featuring a lot of manufacturing innovation teams from big companies like General Motors and Magnum, Whirlpool, and we have one-on-one matchmaking with manufacturing tech startups, pre-arranged meetings with investors and manufacturing innovation teams. So hopefully you can make it out September 30th in the Detroit area.
That's awesome, Dan.
Chat.
I was referring to the Manufacturing Momentum Summit that's on our website. Dan was that, and Dan, you added a lot of great value about how do we accelerate the pace of production on these key products. Sam Bayless, yeah.
Great, thank you. Hey, everybody, I'm Sam Bayless. I'm a senior project manager at Valley Vision, located in Sacramento, California. We're a workforce and economic development nonprofit. Thanks for having me. But I just wanted to provide a quick update. We've been providing some funds, passing through some funds provided by the state of California, focused on workforce and economic development. But we did just fund 3 pure play precision manufacturing projects, one of which is a talent pipeline management project in 2 of our counties here, Sacramento and Placer County, focused on the semiconductor industry. So really excited to get these off the ground. We're putting together some sector advancement working groups across all of our sectors, but really excited about the precision manufacturing one in particular. Nice to meet you all.
Great, Sam. Yeah, it's great to have you on, and welcome to AMCC. Valley Vision goes way back, 15 years to that IMCP initiative. They were leaders in food and ag manufacturing production. So thanks for your leadership, and now pivoting to semiconductors. So that's great. Yeah, Kevin Ross at Accenture.
Yeah, hey everybody, Kevin Ross, Managing Director at Accenture. My focus is on helping our clients reshore manufacturing to the US. Recent conversations are really focusing around AI server manufacturing. Interesting investments I'm learning are being made by large contract manufacturers like Foxconn, Wistron, Pegatron to reshore or onshore server manufacturing. So things are happening now. I'm seeing investments in Texas. So investments by Foxconn, I think they're investing $35 million for a site in Houston, Texas. Pegatron's investing, or rather Wistron is investing in Houston, and Pegatron is investing in Austin. So a lot of activity in that space. A lot of the work that we do leverages digital tools to help companies like that do factory planning and simulation using digital tools and other techniques to help accelerate launching those capital projects.
Great. Thanks, Kevin. It's great to always have you on these calls. And again, you guys use the chat, put your name and affiliation in the chat, get to know people in the chat. Kevin's a good one to know, like everyone. Tom White in North Carolina. It's good to see your name. How you doing, my friend?
Doing great, Matt. Thanks so much for the call out. We're looking at a lot of aviation, aerospace growth in the Piedmont Triad market with Jet Zero and Boom Supersonic. But it's great to see you, and thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's good to have you on. We do, we talk, these 2 virtual things are big, but, we've got to do in-person things like we're doing the Manufacturing Momentum Summit in Detroit this week. And we also do these things called AMCC roadshows. where we co-create visits with folks who want to leverage AMCC to, advance the things that they want to do around strengthening their ecosystem of support around producing priority products. So other folks, introduce yourself, tell us a cool thing. Sam Bayless out there in California did a good job of highlighting some cool interventions that they're operationalizing around semiconductors. Folks, chime in here. Brittany from TMAC, is that? Tell us about your where you are in the ecosystem of support.
Hey Matt, good to see you. So I'm Brittany. I'm with the Texas MEP Center. We're part of the national network that is still hanging on and for another year now, and hopefully for a few more. We help small to mid-sized manufacturers become more profitable, efficient, and resilient. And we actually, thanks in no small part to AMCC's roadshow visit here last December, I think it was. We have kicked off a series of regional ecosystem development meetings. Our next one is in a couple of weeks this month, and we have more than 70 people attending from manufacturers and leaders from, and we're doing it very holistic. We've got capital access, economic development, workforce development, other peripheral. We got veterans programs, and we're just going to get everybody in a room and see if we can make magic happen. So.
Awesome, Brittany. Yeah, you made my day. That's great to hear. And what Brittany was getting at, if you're not tracking this, so for decades, the federal government has invested in this thing called the Manufacturing Extension Partnership System in every single state and Puerto Rico to help the existing, really mostly small, medium-sized enterprises, manufacturers adopt new technologies, better practices, et cetera. And so they've been under threat with the leadership change in Washington. And so some are thinking, oh, they're being reinstated, or is it a reprieve or not? So it's really unclear about what's going to happen. And I think it just underscores the importance of your input in terms of this national strategy for advanced manufacturing, that we all chime in about how important it is that we weave all parts of the country together, and if we don't have a presence in every state in the union, folks are going to get left behind. I mean, that's something that we need to solve for. In the Chips and Science Act, the bipartisan Chips and Science Act, they talked about what are the national, social, and geostrategic challenges we need to overcome. And one of them was the inequality of access to getting into these important jobs and strengthening the ecosystem of support. And and if we don't have a presence in every state, that's going to get exacerbated. So let's see, Christine Napo from Chicagoland, and then Andy Stetner from the Century Foundation. Yeah.
And I have to comment on an unusual win for our MEPs indirectly. At the beginning of COVID, I don't know if you all recall that we created an impactful program supporting manufacturing in partnership with our MEP, the Illinois Manufacturing Excellence Center, where we used some of our American Rescue Plan dollars to provide technical assistance. We funded the initiatives. Our MEP was the instrumental partner in making sure that these programs were delivered to over 400 manufacturers we were able to serve. And we won an award locally through an organization called Chicago Innovation in our community support endeavor through this work. And we're invited on Friday to ring the closing bell at NASDAQ in honor of this program, along with other award winners. So not a usual award for an MEP, but another way to get the word out that without them, this is not possible.
Thank you so much, Christine. And thanks, Christine's on our board of advisors and longtime AMCC BFF. Andrew Stetner.
Yeah, I just want to point out we did a set of Capitol Hill meetings last week around manufacturing workforce, a couple interesting pieces, met with some old friends of AMCC. One as we're talking a little about the future of industrial policy, and I think the advice we had was to really center on certain critical technologies, like critical minerals, like AI, and thinking about those as being the leading in future. In the same way that chips was kind of our lead, the last time we kind of got some federal industrial policy investments. And the second kind of piece of feedback we met with the new co-chair of the Manufacturing Caucus, Haley Stevens, for this Congress, and they are interested in doing briefings for their members. AMCC's done that a lot in the past. So we were gonna, share some ideas, and I know Matt, we're gonna get together next time you're in town to think through maybe a couple of briefing topics. The staff member there was not familiar with the long history between AMCC and the caucus, so it was good to kind of make that connection. To the long connection we've
Great,
had.
let's
with
do it.
AMCC.
If it's cool, we can do that next week. So we're going to be there
Right.
at the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. You know how we talk on this call about how we got to get all these professions more leaning into the manufacturing ecosystem of support. Mechanical engineers is one. We talked about lawyers and managers and all these different parts of the ecosystem, county officials, state officials, etc. And so anyway, we're going to be there in DC, David Van Sicklen and I. So Andy, we'd love to connect and try to move that agenda forward. It's a great way to educate in a kind of evidence-based, bipartisan way. It's one of the biggest groupings within the House of Representatives, what Andy's talking about, the House Manufacturing Caucus. And so we have had that long history, and because of you all, talking through us to the House Manufacturing Caucus, we've created some pretty cool, activities for federal interventions that really help this bottom-up model make progress. So thanks for that report. Other folks want to chime in? Tell us where you are in the ecosystem. Claire Michaels, tell us where you are. Yeah.
Hi there. I'm actually in Arizona today, but usually in California. I am the regional manufacturing career specialist with the 4 workforce development boards of the East Bay. And it's a regional investment in manufacturing, trying to connect the people who help job seekers on the ground, and make sure that they understand the opportunities in manufacturing in our region. We have some exciting stuff happening, especially in Fremont and Hayward, in the semiconductor industry, a lot of technician positions going unfilled. So we have been doing some exciting stuff this summer. We brought about 40 frontline career coaches and job developers on a tour of manufacturing facility 2 weeks ago, and we're doing another one this week. And I think it's really great because it's different than bringing, K through 12, high school students out to manufacturers for manufacturing day. Each of these people actually has a caseload of 30 to 40 individuals who they may just not be thinking about what modern manufacturing looks like. And so we're really hoping to be moving the needle a little bit with our work. And I'm excited to be part of this group.
Yeah, excited to
Thank
have
you,
you
Matt.
here. Yeah, for sure. I mean, and just underscores the importance of having input, Claire, on this national strategy, right? Like those, because we need to penetrate, we need a big message. So when we send out AMCC's draft response this Friday, you're going to
Yes.
see, I mean, there's 12 questions that NIST has in there, and they're going to dive into the 12 questions. And my take is that those 12 questions are really tethered to the previous plan or whatever, but there's nothing in the response makeup that says you have to stick to those 12 questions or answer them all. You can just answer one of them, or what we're going to be doing, you'll see in our draft, is we're just doing 4 big points about big structural change that we need in this country. And so we invite folks to think outside the box, so we have more transformative input instead of small ball. Incremental progress is good, but like that's not where we are, right? We need really some systemic transformational progress. So thanks for sharing that. And as always, with so many of the good ideas that people have talked about, Claire, send them our way to David Van Sicklen and myself. We can put them in the AMCC update, or we can maybe come back and have you on a Monday call for 10 or 15 minutes to make a presentation about a cool, tactic that is penetrating in your region. So thanks for that. Let's see. Well, I always love going to Virginia. Admiral Mark Whitney, welcome.
Hey, thanks, Matt. Appreciate that. So Virginia Digital Maritime Center, we are down here in Hampton Roads trying to make a difference, collaborating with a bunch of different regional organizations. Our thrusts are technology insertion, digital analytics, and workforce development. We are trying to spark the interest of middle school and high school kids in the maritime trades and collaborating with companies that once they can make a decision to insert the technology, they've got a bunch of data that they don't know what to do with, and now they need to either upskill or attract that new workforce. So great stuff. Love this call. Thanks, Matt. And
Thank you.
I'm getting ready to send you a note that we've got Jessica Galassi is going to be representing VDMC at the summit in Detroit. Hope you run into her. Thanks.
Yeah, I for sure. She's super impressive. Let's go Oregon. Kate Merrill.
Hi, everyone. I just got back from a trip to New York where we were looking at micromobility hubs around the city and just new ways for transporting freight carbon free. So I'm very excited to bring that back to Portland. I'm also looking at opportunities for more light manufacturing in our city's core as we look to revitalize our cities. So I'll be working with the Urban Manufacturing Alliance and putting together a workshop this fall and just finishing our action plans for our priority industries in Portland, which is we have a new executive director coming on for our economic development office. So it's an exciting time here. Thanks for
That's
calling
great,
me.
Yeah, for sure, Kate. And welcome as always. Oregon's got a long history with this bottom-up effort, and so glad to have you integrated into the group, Kate. Yeah.
Thanks.
Let's see. Other folks who want to quickly well, Stephen, talk about, employee ownership opportunities of having work. Kate was talking about Urban Manufacturing Alliance. We're trying to work, Steve Storkin and many others are trying to work to understand the playing field of succession planning. We have roughly 240,000 manufacturers, small, medium-sized operations. The silver tsunami is happening. Can you, Steve, tell just a quick nutshell before we get off about your work, how people can contact you and get really connected to the broader movement to help the succession planning for these aging out manufacturers? Yeah.
Sure. Thanks, Matt. Steve Storkin, my contact information is in the chat. We have a network of 24 state centers for employee ownership across the country. They're all nonprofits, and their sole mission is to help people like you connect business owners with the resources that they need to talk about succession planning and keeping good jobs local. Rather than selling to PE or third parties that are going to take them outside of the country or outside of the cities that they're in, keep jobs local, keep good jobs. Don't sell the equipment and move on. You've got employees who can get access to funds to purchase those businesses. So we're here just to support them, not sell them anything, and would love to talk to you more. So thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
Yeah, as always, Steve, thanks for the teamwork, and thank you all for the teamwork. This is always an inspiring call for me at the beginning of every week, and this is hard work. We're not doing this because it's easy, right? This is hard work. It's really, our friends at MIT call it complex system science in the social science zone, and so it's with this teamwork that we've gotten to this framework, around creating priority products with key technologies, around the big six and regional ecosystems of support, and trying to understand our own regional ecosystems and bring interventions that really bridge the gaps that we can identify. We're building this tool and playbook for that. Need a lot more teamwork to make that a reality, so that we can have sustainable development in this country and make this an American century. So thanks for being on this call. For those that will see you in Detroit this week, stay tuned for the AMCC update on Friday, which will have our draft first take on the national strategy for advanced manufacturing. And come back next week, because that's going to be a really cool session with NIST, for direct feedback into what the nation's national strategy ought to be. So thanks again. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.